The soil in the Gray County highlands didn't just hold rocks, it seemed to breed them. For Arthur Penhaligon, a third-generation farmer with hands like cured leather, the struggle wasn't just the frost that lingered into May. It was the laughter echoing from the stools at the local diner. The fool's errand. In 2022, after a devastating drought nearly cleared his bank account, Arthur stopped planting the standard corn and soy that every other farmer in the township grew. He started talking about regenerative agriculture and perennial polycultures. The mockery was swift. Arthur's growing weeds and calling it a career. Silas, the largest cash cropper in the county, would bellow. He's traded his tractor for a shovel and a prayer, others chimed in. They called his land the Dust Bowl because he refused to till. While his neighbors' fields were black, neat, and sprayed to a chemical sheen, Arthur's fields looked like a chaotic tangle of clover, rye, and strange, deep-rooted grasses. The breaking point. The summer of 2024 was the hottest on record in Ontario. By July, the heat shimmered off the cracked earth. Silas and the others were watching their corn stalks curl into pineapple leaves, a sign of extreme moisture stress. They spent a fortune on irrigation and more fertilizer, watching their margins vanish into the heat haze. One afternoon, a group of farmers pulled their trucks up to Arthur's fence line, ready to deliver a final round of "I told you so's." What they saw silenced them. While the rest of the county was brown and brittle, Arthur's weeds were vibrant green. His soil, protected by a thick layer of mulch and complex root systems, was holding moisture like a sponge. The turning point, Arthur didn't just survive the drought, he thrived. Because he hadn't spent $200,000 on diesel and synthetic nitrogen, his overhead was almost zero. By autumn, Arthur wasn't just selling crops. He was selling high-end organic heirloom grains to artisanal bakeries in Toronto and grass-fed beef that chefs were clamoring for. The final harvest. The mockery ended the day the Ministry of Agriculture arrived, not to inspect a failure, but to film a documentary on the future of Canadian farming. Silas was the first to cross the fence line. He didn't come to laugh. He came with his cap in his hand. "Art," he muttered, looking at the rich, black earth Arthur had built from scratch. "How'd you get the dirt to stay that way?" Arthur leaned on his fence post, a slight, witty grin tugging at his mouth. "I just stopped fighting the land and started listening to it, Silas. Turns out the weeds were just waiting for someone to trust them." Arthur Penhaligon didn't just save his farm. He became the most successful man in the county. Not because he had the biggest tractor, but because he had the clearest vision. What part of Arthur's journey, the technical shift in farming or the social challenge of standing his ground, interests you most?